So right behind this fence is one of the most amazing discoveries in British history, because what was found here is incredibly important. Even though we're standing out here, we can still tell the story of this incredible place just over that ridge. So beneath this ground, archaeologists uncovered one of the most extraordinary prehistoric sites ever discovered in Britain. A complete Bronze Age village with homes, tools and clothing, even food still sitting in pots, all preserved because of a catastrophic moment nearly 3,000 years ago. This is Must Farm. What makes this place so remarkable is that it didn't just slowly decay, it burned. The Must Farm site lies near Whittlesey, just outside Peterborough, in the wetlands of the Fenland Basin. The discovery began in 1999 when timber posts were noticed protruding from the side of a brick quarry. Archaeologists soon realised these were not some random pieces of wood. They were structural remains from a prehistoric settlement. Further investigation revealed something remarkable: a Bronze Age village built on stilts above a river channel. This kind of construction is known as pile dwelling, where houses are raised above the water on wooden posts, and what lay beneath the mud was extraordinary. Around 850 BC, a small group of people created a community on the edge of the wetlands here. Their homes were circular wooden roundhouses supported by 2 rings of oak posts, with floors made from wooden timbers and walls of wattle panels. The roofs were made from straw, turf and clay, possibly with a chimney opening to let smoke escape right at the top. Around the settlement stood a palisade of sharpened stakes, protecting the houses built above the water. It was a clever adaptation to the Fenland environment. At some point less than a year after the settlement was built, disaster struck. A fire spread rapidly throughout the wooden houses. Within minutes, the structures collapsed. Their floors gave way, and everything inside, tools, pottery, clothing, food, fell into the river below. This combination of fire and waterlogged sediment created perfect preservation conditions. So living here would have been great for the community, for local fishing, hunting, and even using this very river for transport. Unfortunately, this village had a very short life. It's what archaeologists dream of, but very, very rarely see. A moment frozen in time, not that dissimilar to Pompeii. Because the houses collapsed so suddenly, their contents remained exactly where they'd been used. Archaeologists found pottery bowls still containing food, including porridge made from wheat and animal fats. I'm not gonna lie, that actually sounds nice. A wooden spatula still rested inside the bowl. It makes you wonder if the archaeologists that discovered it thought, for science. Elsewhere, tools, clothing and personal items lay scattered across the collapsed floors. The excavation produced over 120 pottery vessels, nearly 200 wooden artefacts, more than 150 textile and fibre items, and over 90 pieces of metalwork. These included axes, sickles and razors, the tools of everyday Bronze Age life. The site also produced the largest collection of Bronze Age textiles ever discovered in Britain, and even more surprisingly, some jewellery came from far beyond Britain. Archaeologists discovered beads made from glass, amber and stone. Scientists suggest that some of the items that they recovered from the site come as far away as Iran. That's over 4,000 kilometres away. They even have evidence of items coming from the likes of Scandinavia and Central Europe. So stop and think. A very small community at the edge of the Fenland Basin was not so isolated after all. They were a part of a much larger trade network, just one small chain in the piece. It's remarkable to think of how ancient trade worked. So even though Must Farm seems like a small, isolated little community, they were a part of something much bigger. So the excavation here at Must Farm was incredible. They had identified over 18,000 structural timbers that were found during excavation. Now for an archaeologist, that's something very unheard of. They probably were hopping and skipping and dancing at the fact they found all that. Because normally when they excavate a Bronze Age site, the vast majority of it is just potholes. Because let's be fair, normally wood rots. And because of the sheer scale of what they found here, they were able to reconstruct the entire settlement and exact floor plan and exactly how things were stored. That's remarkable. It's one of the most detailed snapshots in history of how our ancestors used to live. And that's why Must Farm today is called Britain's Pompeii. Because just like Pompeii, they can see what life was like. And that is almost unheard of in archaeological form. I've only been to Pompeii once and I saw a quarter of it. I'd love to go back. I'd love to go to Herculaneum too. bucket list moments right there. But with like every other video I make, it's easy to focus on the amazing discovery, the excavations, the pottery, the food, the clothes, exactly how the town might have looked. It's also important to remember the people that once lived there. You got to think, their lives were destroyed right under their feet. Every object belonged to someone. A potter shaping clay by a fire, a fisherman checking his traps in the river, and someone very eagerly stirring their porridge, hoping to have a nice meal, and then a fire breaks out. If that were me, I would be crying inside. Even though it's sad and it's in a strange way, it preserved their life so that we can appreciate it to this day. Today, Musk Farm sits inside a quarry, but just outside it, there's empty fields as far as the eye can see. The same river that they would have seen with their own eyes, and a very busy motorway just right outside with many people passing, completely unaware of the incredible nature that just lies beyond that fence. But beneath this ground lies a moment from the Bronze Age, a village captured at the instant its life changed forever. And thanks to archaeology, we can rediscover that moment today. A small community on the edge of the fens, their homes built above the water, their lives suddenly interrupted by fire, and their story has been preserved underneath the mud for almost 3,000 years. That's amazing, depending which way you look at it. I would have loved to have seen it with my own eyes, if I'm being honest. But what you can do is see a very similar preservation over at Flag Fen, just over the fields. So if you're ever in the area and you would love to learn a little bit more, definitely go to Flag Fen. Maybe a future video also, maybe. I hope you enjoyed today's video. Please tell me, where should I go next? Like, comment and share away, that would be amazing. I'd love to earn your subscription. See you next time!